you know, blah, blah, blah. But I believe strongly that we should consider our veterans, because like you said, they put their lives in line. And why do we have so many homeless, you know? That is the question, I don't understand
Because
that.
we need a heart transplant. True.
Yeah.
But yeah, of course, yeah, I'm gonna be the better opponent, you know, I'm going to be that guy. They know that. When I ran into guys down there on the river in Guadalupe when we had that flood, we spent about a month down there, and I had two guys from the Texas National Guard come up to me and say, two young guys, thanks for standing in the gap for us and not letting us get those shots. You know,
Like my friend here, he also is a veteran,
Yeah.
and he's had the hardest time collecting his.
well, that is, I'm not gonna
Percentage.
pass the buck, but that's a VA thing, but Texas also has a veterans, organization. We have to promote that better.
I'm sorry,
I
how
had a-
how can you work? I know that when it was open borders, the border patrol they were babysitters. They were, you know, yeah, they were, their hands were tied.
Yeah.
How can you, once in office, how can you work?
Great question. So it's Texas State Guard. We have a Texas State Guard. It works more like a humanitarian group right now. It's just not built to handle those kind of situations.
Praying for you.
We have $36 billion sitting in a fund for emergencies. When the federal government, when the state of Texas issues an emergency, two things happen.
Yeah, he said.
One, local taxes go up. That's the first thing that happens. And we don't pull those off sometimes. We still have some places that from Harvey because of the damage that was done. It's been a little while. When they do that, the federal government kicks in 75% of those emergency funds. So we have a fund right now that exists for emergencies. There's already been an emergency declaration on the border. We already had that. Then you take that money and put it into the state guard to then give assistance to the people on the border the next time. Trump has cut the numbers down. It's great. Good job. That's what you're supposed to do. You're in charge of the federal border. But for me, I have to be ready for the next time that a president comes in that doesn't do that. Right? You don't make it happen. You don't build the plane in flight. Right? We've outrun our headlights so many times because we were not prepared for the situation. So day one, State Guard, people join, every able-bodied man and woman who wants to join the State Guard to help either in a humanitarian way or grab a rifle, former law enforcement who have credentials through TCOL, Texas Council on Law Enforcement, and we put them back to work. Volunteer. But the remuneration for that is going to be, they don't pay property taxes, period. Because now the state is giving back to them for their volunteerism, right? So we give them a break. Then when Sheriff Coe down in Kenny County calls me and says, Pete, I got 6 deputies and I don't know what to do. I'm with the National Guard down there working over at, this is in Kenny County, so it's Brackenville, right? He said, I only got 6 deputies, but because the governor's head of DPS is controlling the funds, right? So they push the problem down the right because the funds come from the federal government. They want to keep that money, but we're not going to dedicate to help you in the truest sense of helping you because you got 6 deputies. We can take the State Guard and go, boom, I need to flex about 1,500 of you guys over there. We handle that problem immediately. Let the federal government do what they have to do. That's the Border Patrol. I can't affect that, what they do, but I can assist them, right? In a real way, not just watching through binoculars saying, here's 200 people tonight. Hey, I got 900 people. Hi, we win.
That's
No,
right.
that's the game that was played. And it's a bunch of honking. Because that was an optic, and the reality is we did nothing. And we're supposed to stop it. So when I was on that knee talking to the governor, he asked me, how many Green Berets do we have on the border? I said, you got 1. We need more. So we can go after these guys. Okay, we'll talk about it. Right? We need more. I said, you heard of one ranger? I literally told him as the governor. He said, yeah, I've heard of that. I said, well, 1 humanitarian crisis, 1 Green Beret. We need more. That's what I said. He laughed. You know, he tried to pet my dog. Or he quit touching my dog. At that time, I didn't know what was going to happen later on. This was all going to be a facade. Okay, finally get to that.
How's it going? Well, thank you for being here first and foremost.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for making some time coming to El Paso.
You're worth it.
So I did some time with the 87 legislation, predominantly with Mays Middleton, trying to pass the Shared Equal Parenting Bill, HB 803, back in the 87 legislation. We did get 22 bipartisan sponsorship for the bill, and that's having equal parenting if both parents are fit and able. and willing, right? What I found really unusual is why do we keep having Democrats on top of these chairs, on the committees of these chairs, here in Texas? And you know, you probably, as what happened with this bill, it didn't hit the House floor when you have 22 sponsorships.
What was the bill number?
803.
So you know the higher the number?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they wanted to fix the border patrol, I mean, not border patrol, the state guard was 4914. So you can tell you what the priorities are.
Wow.
Yeah, that's good to know.
So now, so when we got back, all of us who were involved in this bill in our own family courts, you know, we got persecuted for it.
Of course you did.
Now there's a class action lawsuit spearheaded by a friend of mine. I am addended onto this lawsuit. However, last week, this is in Tarrant County, they just evicted him from his home. The state has possession of his house. He was incarcerated. He was incarcerated, and you know, this guy, he's in charge of the encryption for the entire U.S. banking system. He came from China to come to America, the land of the free, to only be faced to the same type of communism he grew up with in China. It's just the bureaucracy here in Texas is getting out of hand.
Right.
We say, you know, as Republicans, we're all for protecting the sanctity of life, you know, at the womb, and but what happens after the womb? You know, kids deserve both parents. They also deserve both grandparents as well.
That's
As our grandparents is where we share the most knowledge being passed on to our generations.
Right. So there's many family courts, there's many CPS agents, and there are many things that take place that fall into the category of lawfare. That's lawfare. The guy that's going to be in charge of the task force for that, is a guy named Stuart Rhodes, constitutional attorney. Took a beating on J6, didn't do anything illegal. He was completely exonerated from everything by Trump because he didn't have anything that was really a charge that they could come up with that would actually stick. But they were going to keep him there for several years, and he was exonerated of that completely. So that's the guy you want because he's a constitutional attorney, a veteran as well, a recon guy, airborne recon guy.
Oh, wow.
So I know he's tough. And he is. I met him, and he came down to the river too, by the way, and helped people out.
We did a shotgun
Okay.
shooting.
So you know who the guy is, and I trust him. He came down the river, helped us out. So that's the kind of thing. Well, we've got to have that lawfare task force to keep them in check. We've got to. I mean, we've got to revamp the Child Protective Services because a lot of these kids are being taken away needlessly. We got to talk to judges about when you're in a civil court, especially in a family court. You don't have the same authorities that a criminal court has, right? And they're abusing it,
Yeah.
right? Because that falls under the four things: ego, a lot of ego in there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but
A lot of money.
a lot of money. Every time a kid gets moved, same thing with the NGOs. Every time a kid gets moved, transfer of money takes place.
They make trillions of dollars on that.
Trillions of dollars. Yes, ma'am.
So
That's the
essential.
background
And
that I was
when
talking
the
about.
whistleblower Tara Rodas came out and told me we got 350,000 kids missing from the border that were unaccompanied, then our team went into high gear and in Austin found a place where there was 119 of them boys that were being used for a club called Los Cholos.
Oh my Lord.
12 to 15-year-old boys. We were able to find 35 of them. Only found 35 of them. They're back with their families and they're in safe places. But that was because they were given to sponsor families without any background check. 119 boys were put in one neighborhood in Austin under 5 sponsor families.
Oh gosh.
That is dereliction of duty.
That's
The
right.
same charge that I would say upon the governor with the border
That's
that
right.
allowed this to happen.
That's right.
We did not read Article 4, Section 7 of the Constitution of the state of Texas, which says it's incumbent upon the governor to protect the state. from
Right.
Invasion.
Right
You've
on.
declared an invasion, but you haven't exercised Article 4, Section 7.
Another interesting case is Jeff Younger.
Yeah.
That's right.
This will be our last one because we got a boogie. But go
Oh,
ahead.
yeah.
His son, who's 9 years old, obviously his mom has some sort of mental issue where she's obsessed with making the kid transgender. So they had already approved the castration in the family courts
God have
up in
mercy.
Fort Worth. And I don't even understand how this happens in Texas. They went ahead and took away his, whatever custodial right he had
Right.
to make, medical decisions. Mom then moves to California because then California passed a law that they're able to bring children from other states. How does this happen in Texas?
The Texas Medical Board is gonna be disbanded and rebuilt.
Yeah.
'Cause that's where that starts. And all of those people gave a lot of money to have it be on that
Yeah.
board. The Texas Education Agency needs to be abolished. Right? Local education agencies got it. Cookie cutter doesn't exist in Austin that has the solution for education. But when you decentralize government, you watch the 80% of waste and fraud and abuse that takes place at the administrative level, give it to teachers, keep it at the lowest level, and start going after doctors who are doing this kind of stuff. Because
Darn
that's
right, yes,
unethical.
yes.
That's not, I had a Hippocratic oath, and, I took it serious. It's
Thank you.
unethical. But great questions. So, my
Thank
last
you.
thing to say, and I'm sorry that we have to go, but we do have to make a fight. This is a horseshoe nail. Okay, it just goes in a horseshoe, keeps the horseshoe on the foot, on a horse. For want of a nail, a shoe can be lost, a horseshoe. For loss of a shoe, a horse can be lost. For loss of a horse, a rider can be lost. For loss of a rider that's carrying a message to the front to say, hey guys, look out. That message is lost. The battle could be lost. For loss of a battle, we're in a war, Texas. The battle for Texas is in our face. We just don't see it. It's
That's right.
insidious. The loss of a battle, a nation can be lost.
Right on,
If we lose Texas, the nation goes.
That's
right on, right on.
And
It's
we
that
lose
simple.
our lives and our freedom
And
and
our freedoms,
everything else.
because we are not an investment tool. We're not to be transfer migrated out because we want to have freedom and sovereignty. This is not. It ain't about GDP. That's important, but it's not about that. This is about sovereignty.
That's right.
This is just that simple. It's that simple to me. I see it. I fought for it. Not coming back from 20, maybe that was good. I was in a time warp for 20 years going back and forth down range. I came home and went, whoa, what happened to the America that I knew 20 years ago?
Right.
Maybe it was good that I did that. Maybe all things do work together for the good of those who love God and are called according to his purpose. Maybe that's it.
That's
I don't
right.
know.
Yeah, it is it.
That
Yes, it is.
Without him, we're nothing.
Thank you,
So-
Doc. We're gonna be praying for you, definitely.
Vaya con Dios.
Praying.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.